did you guys already know each other? Had you worked together before? How did you come together on this project?
Yes, we knew each other socially, and we were friends for a minute. Like,
we did a puppet
2
show
years.
together.
We did do a puppet
That
show.
was our. That
Tell
was,
us more about the
I
puppet show.
forget. It was the knitted, the giant
the white mitten. The white mitten.
The white mitten we adapted
We
together.
did an adaptation for my 4-year-old niece.
Sadie.
It was an
Hi,
audience of
Sadie,
like
if
one.
you're watching this, do you remember?
We did a puppet show in my garage in Maine. Judy came up to visit for New Year's.
It was so fun, and we did this puppet show, and so we were friends. And then when he was putting this movie together, he approached me to be in it, but we were like kind of in a holding pattern to see which role I would play, because we were like, I was like, well, of course I'll be in it, so like get who you can get and I'll just play the other role.
But also like when I wrote the script, writing the Paralyzer, I always kind of pictured Judy as that part.
It's so flattering.
But it's absolutely true. Like it as the you are the one. And then we cast Cameron as Adam, who's a redhead. And then I became sort of sidetracked and convinced that redhead. I was like, maybe you should play the mom.
Should play the mom, right?
And then thank God Judy was like, I don't know if I want to play the mom.
Well, I had just come off of doing like 2 roles that were like the mom. Like Liv Tyler's character, and so I was hoping that maybe I could
play the Paralyzer.
I was hoping that I could twist Carter's brain back into time to see me as the Paralyzer.
And it worked.
I first read the script for the movie, obviously a long time ago, but I immediately thought it was great. I thought it was like a very honest portrayal of teenagers, which doesn't happen a lot in movies. And was intrigued by it, and like immediately wanted to know a lot more because it felt like such a unique script.
You wanted to know a lot more about what?
About the whole project, about who was involved and what it meant, and actually I think I got it while I was in class in high school, and like I'm one of those dorks who reads a script immediately. Like I can't have it sit in my inbox. I'm so eager, and read it and wanted to know a lot more about Carter, especially. And my agent sent me Bug Crush, and it freaked me out in the best way. And then I put myself on tape for Gracie. I grew up in Atlanta and was still there, and after I was on tape, they were psyched, and I came up to New York and had a callback with Alex and Hunter and Carter, all the producers and the director, and it was really intimidating. It was like, Gracie's such like a very confident, straightforward character that I had to have that confidence.
You had to come into the room with that.
Yeah, and the scenes for the audition were like some of the intimate, weird scenes, and yeah, I remember coming to New York and feeling like I had to nail it, and went in and just kind of did it.
Yeah.
Very straightforward, as Gracie is, and Carter says now that he immediately knew I was Gracie, but I didn't, and was eager for a few days, and then finally got it, and was so excited.
And tell me about adapting the novel into the screenplay.
It was it took me a while. It was just me writing alone, sort of holed up in Maine, like, trying to figure out what should end up in the movie and what shouldn't. But I fell in love with the novel, so I was just sort of trying to stay true to, what Christopher Barzak wrote. It wasn't easy, but I hope that the sort of essence of what Christopher was trying to tell ended up on the screen. When I first read the book, I fell in love with Adam and Jamie and Gracie, and that like weird teenage triangle that felt like very real and very sort of unlike how teenagers are normally portrayed. And then there was this sort of like weird, messed up, otherworldly element of like the Paralyzer that moves into his life and like is this crazy woman that like makes his life hell. It was sort of this, all of these elements that sort of forced him out of his house, out of his home. It sort of find something special with this dead kid.
So Jamie Marks is this shy introvert, kind of weird, uncoordinated kid. And his father's not part of his life, only lives with his mom. They're very poor. He doesn't fit in school, has no friends, and gets picked on, bullied rather violently, and as we see in the beginning of the film. And he mysteriously dies. We don't really know if it's a suicide or a murder, but he dies in the beginning of the movie and then comes back as a ghost, stuck in between the world of the living and the dead, to have a friendship that he never could have had as a living human being.
The first night I came upstate, they were already a week or two into the shoot, and I hung out with Noah and Cameron, and I think Madison was even there that night, and this is a funny little story, but that first night we went to this like abandoned resort we filmed in Liberty, New York, and it was like a summer resort but abandoned, and crashed in a little. We like all wanted to explore that, and I haven't really talked about it in interviews, but it was like kind of a defining moment because it kind of felt like the characters in something they would do, and I think I was the one who like opened a window and tried to climb in, which I think Gracie would do in this weird small town. But immediately clicked with Noah and Cameron off screen, and then had so much fun acting with them on screen. They're both so different from their characters, but really do justice to Adam and to Jamie, I think.
Judy, you said you really wanted to play the paralyzer. What was it about that part that spoke to you?
I liked that in a way she was kind of, well, not in a way. I liked that she was pushing Adam, that she pushed his buttons. And I found it to be so interesting. Well, the plot line between Adam's mom and Lucy was so interesting to me, that this woman could have like inflicted this much hardship on a family and then get welcomed into it. And like, what kind of character can wrangle that? Like, I was interested in that story of like this girl or woman who can turn something so tragic into a benefit for her.
Yeah, and
like
to manipulate things.
Manipulate the situation to a way where she now gets to live for free and like and like take care of this family and not get sued, not get put in jail.
Yeah.
Like it's an incredible character when you think about it. And like I was excited about exploring that. And I'd also just recently, like I said before, I'd finished playing like 2 roles that were like really like sad sack weepy women, and I was like, I want to play the manipulator. Like, I want the woman who's manipulating the situation, and how does she do that? And there were some like really great moments. I loved working with Liv Tyler. She's such an amazing actress, and it was so nice that Carter just let us like figure out. There's a great scene with us on the couch where we just, like when we were rehearsing, just ad-libbed all this stuff, and it was really fun for me. It was very different.
The film obviously has a supernatural sort of tone to it, but it's really a high school movie. It's really kind of about, it's this character piece, you know, about a coming of age story about high school students. Was that one of the elements that kind of spoke to you?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It felt like these 3 characters, Jamie and Adam and Gracie, on the cusp of figuring out who they are. And high school's a weird time, and this is like a very small town, small high school, and these kids are trying to figure out who they are exactly, and where they're gonna fit in the world. And I think they're all 3 outsiders, and I think everyone in high school, whether you're like popular or not, is trying to figure out like who you want to be and who you want to be friends with.